in tonight for Sheila Lamb, who is not here, as vice chair. This is a regular meeting of the Planning Commission. Today is Thursday, March 20th, and it's past 6:30, which we're going to start now. We do have a quorum here, and I guess we should do a roll call first to see who's present.
Yes. Commissioner Light, Commissioner Boswell,
Present.
Commissioner Craig,
Present?
Commissioner Gaddis,
Present.
Commissioner Conroy, Commissioner Hazeltine,
Here.
Chairperson Lamb.
We're social distancing.
Very good. Okay, we do have a quorum, so I guess the first thing on our agenda is to salute the flag. And, Mrs. Hazeltine, would you lead us in the salute to the flag?
Yes. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Now, first thing I'd like to.
Motion to approve the order of agenda.
There you go.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved, agenda.
Motion to receive and file blue
Folders?
folder items.
Second.
Second that.
Second.
Everybody seconded it then.
Oh, I'm
All's in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Consent calendar.
Consent calendar, these are for, I guess I'll just read this part. These are for business items, except those formally noticed for public hearing or those polled for discussion are assigned to the consent calendar. The commission members may present that any consent calendar items be removed, discussed, and acted upon separately. Items removed from the consent calendar will be taken up under the excluded consent calendar section below. Those items remaining on the consent calendar will be approved in one motion. The chair will call on anyone wishing to address the commission on any consent calendar item on the agenda, which has not been pulled by the commission for discussion. Each speaker will be permitted to speak only once, and comments will be limited to a total of 3 minutes per speaker. Are there anything, let's see, on our consent calendar?
Motion to approve consent calendar items.
And a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. And the record note that Commissioner Light is present. Next up is public participation on non-agenda items. The section is intended to provide members of the public with the opportunity to comment on any subject that does not appear on the regular agenda or the agenda for action. This section is limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes to address the commission. Each speaker will be permitted to speak only once. Written requests, if any, will be considered first under this section. Is there anyone here tonight who would like to speak on non-agenda items? Please come forward and say your name.
Holly Osborne, District 5. A month ago or so, you all approved a 43-unit development. I want to know if it was an HOA. I'm thinking that it was. And I also want to know if people who buy into it have to agree to live there for a period of time, 2 or 3 years. I have relatives who live in HOAs or are buying into HOAs, and that's what they're promised to do, because you don't want a speculator buying the whole thing. And I've read in South Carolina where they had a community that was already established, and speculators started buying the empty houses, or the ones for sale, and the people got together, they were at HOA, and they said, if you're going to buy in here, you have to promise to live here 3 years. And they said that cut the speculation down by about a half. So anyway, if you're building it, and all those nice young people want to live there, I want to know how you're going to keep the speculators out. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other
That
speakers?
was last month's project? That was last
Last month's
Oh,
project.
Oh, well.
Please come forward and speak your name, say your name.
Jim Mueller, District 5. 100 years ago, alcoholism was such a widespread problem in America that an amendment to the U.S. Constitution was passed to stop the manufacture and distribution of it. We can't get a constitutional amendment passed to recognize women's equality in law and society. But even the drastic action against alcohol didn't work. Today, 100 years after the 18th Amendment, all society can do is pick up the pieces, clean up the bodies, patch up families with wrecked lives, and pick up the homeless, many of which are addicted to alcohol. And still, the entertainment industry romanticizes the consumption of hard liquor. People are portrayed ending a hard day with 90-proof shot and are celebrating with shots. The 18th Amendment didn't work because it came too late. Alcohol is an addictive substance, and people were used to booze being readily available. It is easy to make and distribute and very profitable. 50 years ago, smoking cigarettes was cool. Movie stars showed how it was done. Tobacco company advertisements featured the Marlboro Man, a handsome dude, manly, who, it was said, loved to suck noxious gases into his lungs. It took society a lot of time and effort to figure out that sucking noxious gases into your lungs is bad for you, and even for the Marlboro Man. But once again, restrictions were too late, and people still get sick and die from smoking. 20 years ago, a pharmaceutical company discovered it was very profitable to get people addicted to pain-killing drugs. Why drink it or smoke it? Just take a pill. It turns out fentanyl can kill you, and you can make it in your garage. Once again, control came too late. We still have problems with fentanyl. And now we're faced with another, whether or not Redondo Beach should allow retail sale and distribution of another addictive intoxicant, cannabis. And if you can get people hooked, it's very profitable. But this time, society, at least in California, is ahead of the game. The state has given cities the right to ban the cultivation, manufacture, processing, distribution, and retail sale of cannabis. And all our neighboring cities, with one exception, have taken advantage of that right. So why did Redondo Beach fall for the cannabis profiteer siren song? Their product is bad for public health. They can't make money with all the restrictions and taxes. I see no upside for Redondo Beach buying into this latest attempt to hook people for profit. With your encouragement, Planning Commission, the City Council may see the light and finally ban this junk for good. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers present or online that would like to speak on non-agenda items?
There are no attendees that would like to speak at this time.
Very good. I believe next we have ex-party communication. This section is intended to allow officials or the members of the commission here the opportunity to reveal any discussions or ex-party communications about the items that are on our public hearing tonight. Commissioner White.
Nothing to report.
Mr. Boswell.
Spoke briefly with Council Member Obaji.
Very good. Commissioner Gaddis
Nothing to report.
and Commissioner Hazeltine.
I spoke with Acting Chair Wayne, Craig,
Bob.
and administration.
Very good. As Commissioner Hazeltine just stated, we spoke together briefly on this. I also spoke with Councilmember Obaji and a couple of members of the general public. Very good. Next step is, Mr. Scully, do we have a presentation on the item on the agenda?
We have to have a motion to open public hearing.
A motion to open public hearing?
Motion to open public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public hearing is open.
You read the nature of the public hearing?
Right. The item for item J1 tonight, we have a public hearing for consideration of an exemption declaration and conditional use permit for the sale of beer and wine for off-site consumption, off sale, at an existing service station with a convenience store and snack shop on property located at 2714 Artesia Boulevard in the commercial C2 zone. Mr. Scully, do we have a presentation on this item?
Thank you, Chair.
Should we
Craig?
swear in the,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do you want to? Yes.
Let's do
Why
the
don't we do
swearing
that?
first.
Speakers that plan to speak tonight, if you could swear them in.
Indeed. Now, are there anyone here tonight, one of the proponents that wish to speak on the issue tonight? Can you please stand and swear an oath? Do you promise just to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Scully.
Thank you, Chair Craig, members of the Planning Commission. So tonight we have our senior planner, Andrew Svitek, here, and he's going to present the item to you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I will be presenting on this item. This is a CUP. The CUP is requested only for the sale of beer and wine for off-site consumption. No construction is being authorized through the CUP. The site is located on the southeast corner of the Artesia Boulevard and Inglewood Avenue intersection. There are 2 driveways from Artesia Boulevard, 1 driveway from Inglewood Avenue. This site is located in the AACAP plan. It is zone C2 and the lot size is 0.6 acres. The site history is as follows. The gas station was built in 1969 with a CUP. It was renovated and rebuilt in 1987 with a CUP. It was approved to add a hydrogen fuel pump island in 2021 with a CUP, and that CUP is no longer in effect. In 2022, the Planning Commission approved another CUP to renovate the gas station by converting the auto service base to a convenience store with a snack shop, and by replacing the previously approved hydrogen fuel pump island with EV charging stations. This shows the site plan as approved by the Planning Commission in 2022. It's a mobile gas station which has 12 pumps. There's an existing 2,630 square foot building. There are 12 parking spaces. The portion of the building highlighted in blue is the proposed snack shop deli. The portion of the building to the south that's highlighted in red is the relocated convenience market, which is currently under construction. And the snack shop will move into the former convenience market location fronting on Artesia Boulevard. As shown on this floor plan, this will be a 1,624 square foot convenience store, which will include a service counter with a cash register, a utility closet, product shelving, a restroom, a storage closet. There will be a walk-in freezer along the sides to the southeast and a walk-in cooler. Now this is walk-in only for employees. The customers will need to reach in using the doors. There will be a total of 10 doors. 3 of the doors, as shown in yellow, are designated for the sale and display of beer and wine. The remaining 7 doors are allowed for general beverages and food sales. The proposal is for sales between the hours of 10 a.m. and 9 p.m., 7 days a week. The designated area for display and storage of beer and wine is in the rear corner of the property opposite to the entrance, and it will not directly be visible from that location, and it will be limited to less than 10% of the total retail floor space. The next 3 slides will review the proposed conditions of approval. As mentioned, the permitted hours for sales will be from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And the numbers in the parentheses correspond to condition numbers. The CUP will only allow the sale of beer and wine, no hard liquor. The CUP will only allow the sale of 6 packs of beer or regular wine bottles. No single serve will be allowed. The CUP requires compliance with ABC regulations. The CUP states that it will terminate if the ABC license is terminated or suspended for a period of 90 days. The CUP also says that nuisances will result in regulatory action up to revocation, and it lists panhandling, public intoxication, and noise as examples. The display area, these are conditions regarding to where alcohol can be displayed. So the display area is not to exceed 25%. As shown on the floor plan, the proposed use is far below that standard at 10%, at less than 10%. The display area will not be visible from the entryway. The coolers will be locked at all times until somebody presents age verification. There will be no displays within 5 feet of the entrance or register because the designated cooler is 35 feet from the entrance. The designated cooler is clearly a permanent cooler. There will be no displays allowed from an ice tub, and there's no drive-up window, so that this CUP complies with that by disallowing that. There are also several advertising conditions. The CUP will prohibit advertising of beer and wine on gasoline islands. The CUP prohibits lighted advertising on buildings or windows. The CUP also states that there will be no signage or advertising that will be visible from the exterior or from the entrance. And the CUP also has a prohibition for video games or electronic games. The Planning Division consulted with the Redondo Beach Police Department, who reviewed their calls for service at this location over the last 2 years. And based on their review, they found that this proposed use did not raise any concerns. The Planning Division also consulted with the Code Enforcement Division, which replied that there were no complaints or violations on this property. We sent out notices to a 300-foot radius, posted the property, and published in the newspaper. No comments were received. Separately, as part of the ABC license, this was noticed as part of a protest type of letter in the fall. That was a 500-foot radius, and no protests were received by the California ABC. Staff finds that this CUP meets all of the criteria required by the zoning code. The use is consistent with the commercial plan land use designation and policies. The site has adequate access. It has 3 driveways. There will be no adverse effects due to the number of conditions that regulate the operations of this business. The property is adequate in size and shape to accommodate this use. And as stated, this CUP contains a number of conditions that will address this proposed use at this location. There were several changes to the draft resolution, and they were included in the blue folder as a red line version. One finding was changed to clarify that the CUP will expire within 36 months if not used or extended. Condition number 22 was deleted because it doesn't apply, as there will be no sales past 9 p.m. And condition number 25 was added to clarify that the previous CUP that the Planning Commission approved in 2022 is still in full force and effect. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission open the public hearing, take testimony, close the public hearing, and make a determination regarding the exemption declaration and the conditional use permit to allow the sale of beer and wine for off-site consumption, off-sale, within an existing convenience store in conjunction with a service station on property located in the commercial C2 zone at 2714 Artesia Boulevard. And this now concludes my presentation. The applicants here and the applicant's ABC consultant should be available by phone. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. So next, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have a
Yeah, sure.
question. What page of the resolution talks about beer being sold in a minimum quantity of a 6-pack?
Yeah, good, thank you.
It says no singles.
It's number 10.
Number 10. Okay,
Blue folder item. They rewrote it.
I have the blue folder version open.
Page,
Single-serve individual containers of alcohol shall be prohibited. Okay, so it doesn't say, the words 6-pack have been taken out.
Yeah, no, that's not.
That's correct, but it's commonly understood that when you have to sell in prepackaged quantities, and beer typically comes in 6-packs if it's not a single serve.
Well, not a 40 ounce.
Yeah.
Usually doesn't come in 6 packs.
Or Foster's.
Well, yeah, that's a single serve, right?
Exactly.
So that wouldn't be allowed, the 40 ounces or whatnot.
That's correct. We also have the,
Wait.
Well,
Hold
one
on.
at a time.
yeah, this is.
40 ounces wouldn't be allowed?
That's correct.
Well, then forget it.
Single serve, I guess.
We could stipulate
They
that
don't even come in
if we
6
want to
packs.
clarify it.
Yeah, they're
Fix
single.
that.
Well, okay, thank you.
We could be specific.
Yeah,
If we want to expand that, that single serving, that's, I don't know, it shouldn't be, but it might be. I hate to say that.
For some people, yeah.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I'm thinking through what we're trying to
Thinking
achieve
the
here.
real, right,
Right,
totally
and the
understand.
idea is that, if somebody is going to a party or something, they're not just gonna bring a single bottle of beer, right?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, except for Doug.
Because I don't want to drink that swill at your house.
And it's interesting, I mean, we have this is an unusual, this is a recently adopted ordinance specifically for service stations that has very explicit conditions. So we just worked off of those. That's not to say if we think it through a little bit more in the moment with a real applications, there might be a additional tightening that we want to do.
Okay, so we can add sort of a wording similar to what's on page 24 of the packet, right? And 24 of the packet says the applicant will be serving beer in minimum, and serving is that probably not the right word, right? Selling beer in a minimum, not serving, because there's no consumption. There's no consumption on premises, right? So something to the effect of selling beer in minimum 6-pack quantities and standard 750 ml or larger wine bottles.
Yeah, is that-
Probably the way it should be worded, right?
Yeah, and you're on page 20.
Page 24 of 7 of the, but it's page 24 of the packet of the administrative report, page 4 of 7, and it's the
Single
fourth,
serving individual.
it's the fourth block of text down
Okay.
under item 8,
Is that number 9 or
8,
I'm
number
on
8.
24, and I'm in the
Page 4 of 7 of the administrative report,
fourth, okay, got it.
okay?
And then
And
we're,
it's item 8
Mhm.
from,
I see,
right?
yeah.
So
So let's
the
see.
wording, they will be serving beer
Has been
or
Will
selling beer in a
Selling.
minimum 6-pack quantity
Selling.
and standard 750 ml or larger wine bottles.
Selling beer, yeah. Selling and in minimum 6-pack quantities and what was it?
Standard 750 milliliter
Wine bottles.
or larger.
or larger for Doug bottles.
Box wine.
I want a magnum of
Or
$2 chocolate.
larger.
Magnum, it could be a Magnum, could be a 1.5
Wine
liter.
bottle, okay.
You never, is Boone's Farm comes in 1.5 in Magnums.
1500
Strawberry Hill. Huh?
Or
I had a
box- he likes
question
box
as well.
wine.
Mad Dog, what?
He likes box wine, the 1500.
Oh, yeah, the Franzia.
We'll find the condition where that needs to go, because that's not a condition, that's just a summary of how we meet the finding,
Right,
so.
right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the resolution, and I'd like it to be in the resolution, and the place where it should be is number 11.
Okay,
No, not 11. It's, sorry. Yeah, number 8.
10.
beer wine shall be
10?
sold from or
The 10
displayed.
single-serve individual
yeah,
containers
10.
alcohol.
Yeah,
products.
That's 8
It's V and 3
in the
I's.
resolution. We're looking at the
Roman
resolution.
numeral 8.
Page
Oh.
29 of the package.
No, we have a new one, they redid it. It's in the blue
I
folder.
thought I had,
I thought I had the new
this
one.
is the new one.
Blue folder item?
Are
Yeah.
you, so we've got the blue folder reso, and then we've got the agenda packet
Oh, I'm looking at
with the original,
So how many resolutions do we have?
just 2.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The blue folder one is current.
Right.
Oh, the one you got,
Yeah, we're going to the packet.
Yeah, we're looking at the packet.
You're looking at the packet, we can work off of the packet and just make sure it's,
your,
it's in there.
I did. I pulled it down. I'm looking at the revised one, I think,
That's what I pulled on too, I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
but it's labeled as number 8
Yeah.
in the resolution.
So we have the same one. Yeah.
Do you have the packet open?
yeah, I got it
Go to
right here.
page 29.
No, it's not 8. 8 is something else.
Here.
you want to get that in the.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Roman
Okay,
numeral
okay.
8, got it.
So
All right.
We're on the, in the packet, we can work off the
It's
packet.
page 2 of the resolution, and it's item 8.
Page 2, item 8, okay.
See where it says single-serve individual containers of alcohol will be prohibited.
Okay.
And that's kind of, that isn't even the right thing to say right there, because of course, if
Yeah,
somebody's
so
buying a
then-
bottle of wine,
That's just a finding, but if we go on down to page, the conditions start on page 32 of the
okay,
packet, or actually 33 is number 1.
okay.
Where do we want to go with this?
Is there no condition on here
I think
in
it's
that regard?
It's got the 10, condition 10, single-serve individual containers of alcohol shall be prohibited.
That doesn't make sense anyway, right? Because a bottle of wine is a single
Yeah,
container.
Say beer.
It's not clear, yeah.
So just change alcohol
we
to
didn't
beer.
consider a bottle of wine an individual, but we can
No.
clarify that.
Single,
Need to
I don't
specify.
Especially
think
after a few, they look,
wine.
they
Yeah.
kind of double.
So let's
Maybe
see,
just say
so
6-pack.
single-serve
Six-pack
individual
of beer
containers
or a
of alcohol
bottle.
shall be
I'm just coming
prohibited.
for-
Bottle
packs too.
750 ml beer. It's
Yeah,
very
the way you
really
phrased it-
fancy,
the way you
what a-
phrased it before was pretty clear, yeah.
They
Including,
come in 4-packs as well, by the way.
um,
We were unable to find Guinness in a 6-pack. We had to get 2 4-packs
Oh, did you?
on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, oh.
maybe
That was
uh,
at all the gas stations we went, no, I'm just kidding.
beer is limited to
That was at
4
10
and 6
market.
packs? What did you?
It says you can get a 4-pack of Guinness. So
Yeah, yeah.
is
Just
that-
what?
Beer sales limited to 4 and 6 packs?
Or and say, sure,
Yeah.
Multiple.
yeah. There's a,
As long as
yeah,
they're not- as long as they're not taking bottles out of a 6-pack and selling them individually.
And then wine sales limited to 750 milliliter bottles
or larger.
or larger. Okay.
And are we talking also about like those drinks that the kids get now,
Oh.
the youngins?
Coolers?
The coolers,
Yeah.
because
That
there's
brings
a
us to
similar
a point
alcohol
Those come in
amount.
4-packs.
Yeah, oh, totally. They would, okay, so
Wine
are
Are
they
those
gonna,
individual serve?
Those are in
No,
I mean,
they're usually in
they're
a
considered
4-packs.
They're in a
Wine
4-pack.
beer,
beers.
I think,
Those are in
Are they?
4-packs.
No, not wine.
because they're malt,
Well, some are malt, some of them are.
Who remembers malt duck?
What product are you talking about?
You
I
know
don't
that
know.
answer?
It's I don't know what you call
Maybe
it.
we defer to
It's what
the,
my daughter drinks, that's all I
They're
know
like
about
that.
it.
yeah.
What is it
Zima was
called?
banned from.
Like
I
America.
don't
Truly-
remember. Let me see if I can find it.
yeah, they're,
Yeah, it's like the new
So if
version.
it's
a
not
receipt.
beer and it's not wine, it's not covered, right?
yeah.
That's great. Jim.
4-pack of
Here's your
beer and
contact. What's
and
that
similar beverages,
Yeah, or
beer.
Oh, Black Claw, those.
Yeah,
Or
the White
alcoholic
Claw.
White
beverages.
Claw.
White Claw.
It's
Yeah.
black
Sure,
claw.
I don't think that's
I
right.
remember that.
It's like
alcohol
vodka in it.
No, no,
include
it's,
alcohol
some of those have,
beverages, or
What was that?
fermented,
could we
like
just
a
make
beer
a
type of-
statement that
It's
includes
like
all of that?
Zimas.
Beer,
Zimas,
wine,
yeah.
and those
Yes,
cooler
yes,
type things, whatever they're.
yes, and similar
Cactus coolers.
alcoholic beverages.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
the point is that no
was
alcoholic
killed to make
beverage
this
is gonna
cooler.
come either in a smaller than a 4-pack or
Larger.
smaller in a bottle than
Right.
750
Beer
ml.
and
That should
similar,
cover it.
limited to 4 and 6-pack sales. Can they
Yeah,
do
like
12
seltzers.
pack?
No,
seltzers.
or
Yeah.
larger.
Yeah, or
you know,
larger.
Yeah,
Oh, they are. They're those seltzers,
They're-
yeah.
12 packs in cases.
Okay.
You go walking out with a case of Zima.
Yeah,
And
Zima,
The
that's
new
another
version
one.
of it.
Is Zima alcohol?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been
That
so
was a
long.
malt- that
I
was
don't
a
know.
Wondering why you felt so good.
That was a malted.
Okay, I think we got that one.
Thank
Another
Okay.
question, I've never seen a lot container at a store. So how is that a new?
A which, a large,
Yeah, so if I read that right, the employee has to check your ID and then go over there and unlock the
yeah.
booze.
That's what sounded.
No, it's locked after a certain time. The
Okay,
applicant
wait.
can answer that
Yeah, maybe we
question.
can have
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, maybe I could
Yeah.
ask.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go
yep.
ahead.
Please come up and please state your name and go ahead.
My name is Bashir, the owner of mobile station in corner of Ortiz and Englewood. I think it was,
I have one.
I don't know how,
Yeah.
the electronic lock would be on the doors, but would Basically, we trigger it once we see somebody underage, but it will be open all the time. Once we see somebody's underage, we will lock it electronically by the cashiers. That's how it's.
Okay, so
They
you
have a
don't check
button.
the ID first?
no,
You,
that-
I got you.
Only if they start
So you have a
going
button
around the
control, like a
booths.
magnetic lock?
Yeah,
that'll
magnetic
it from
lock
the-
on
okay.
3 doors, so that's why we designed it. So if somebody we see underage, we will lock it. They would not have access to.
That's
beer
great.
and wine.
Okay.
Good technology.
Makes
I've never
sense.
seen that, but that's cool.
I've been number two.
Yeah, it was sounding complicated having a run back.
I
and forth.
I have another.
Oh, please,
I have
Commissioner.
one- Is it, do you have more?
That's all I had.
Okay, I have another question for you. So we approved, I don't even know what the final number was with the electrical of the charging
Six,
stations.
wasn't it?
The action item was for the director of planning to send somebody out there and measure things out to see how many could go in. I'm curious as to what happened. How many do they allow? Did Southern California Edison step up to pay for it?
No, if you want us, I can go the detail and
Sure,
tell
Go
you.
ahead.
Basically, we got in 2023, we applied for, we went to city council and applied to remove immediate consumptions from the book. Since 1972, there was immediate consumptions in the book that a gas station would not be allowed to sell beer and wine or immediate foods. Has to be immediate food consumption, so that we were allowed. Like
Oh,
we were
right,
not
right.
allowed to sell 6-pack of water or case of water or big bag of chips. After going back and forth, in September of 2003, city commissions, they approved it. Only they carved this Ortesia Boulevard. They allow us to have this, they removed it from the book. So we can apply for a beer and wine. Then we went to ABC County, we applied for beer and wine, and they told us we have to come back to the city and get a conditional use permit approved before they allow us to sell it.
Okay.
So the reason we applied for beer and wine at this point, because as you guys know, in 2003, I came in front of this body and I asked, volume of gas is dropping. Do we have to kind of diversify and create other source of income for the stations? The volume was very high that time. Now it's shrinking by the day. We asked for the planning commission for 2 charging stations. You guys said, go ahead and get 8. And I applied for Edison. The fund ran out from Edison, so I had to look alternative ways to come up. So I'm investing my own money now. I applied, it's in a planning department right now. We applied for 10 supercharging stations which charge all kind of cars. Tesla, Hammer, all kind, 8 minutes or between 8 and 15 minutes. But the cost is a lot of money. But I'm not going to be investing money, and I'm in the middle of constructions as we speak. When I applied, I was waiting for beer and wine till they removed it, and Häagen-Dazs committed to have a ice cream shop in the corner, and finally they give up. It says too long. We are no longer interested. So I spoke with the Mickey's Deli, which they have a pizza pasta shop in I think Hermosa, and they were interested. So they're gonna come partner with us, and they're gonna take space in our building so they can come up.
Cool.
And we are right now in a process of EV charging stations, conversion of the mechanic bay to C-stores and deli. And obviously this is the main part of Ortesia corridor. So we have a lot of, I think the total cost would be $2.1 million to invest and renovate from A to Z. And that's why we are asking, so we can kind of recuperate some of the investment we're gonna do and see if we can get through the sale of beer and wine. It's not just beer and wine. When people comes in for a beer and wine, they grab a bag of chips, they get water, other things. So it's an add-on sale. That's the reason sometimes when people goes to Rams game or Chargers game, they stop, always they ask for beer and wine. I said, we don't have it. So they were going across the street in Lawndale and paying their sales tax there, and we were losing the sales. So that's why I decided to pursue this and ask for permit to see if we can sell it.
Okay.
Right.
Question.
Any other questions? Please go ahead. Mr. President.
So if you should get this approval, would you be serving beer and wine at the deli?
No,
So
We
even at
accept
the
total-
deli, now at the deli, they'd be able to sit down, eat a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
You have sit-down tables or chairs or
No,
what?
they would not have it. It's not a on-premises eating, so it's to go thing.
It's just a
And-
takeout.
Takeout. And also to prevent that, we put these safeguards between us. We put a door between our store and theirs, one thing, to prevent people coming from this side to that side. We have located the cashier where they stop people going on the other side. And that's one of our agreement with Mickey's, so they would not allow anybody to consume on the property. So that's our commitment.
Is this two separate businesses
Two
that are both
separate.
owned by you?
No. Mickey's is going to be leasing part of our
Oh,
business.
so this is, Mickey's
Yeah.
is going to be the one that is subleasing space to put their deli
But I'm building
on
it
your
for-
property?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's clear.
Just to add on, we took every precaution that possibly we can. That was our commitment, the things that they explained it in the presentations. Basically, we are committed not to sell single serving beers. Anything can, we would not sell it. It has to be 6-pack or larger. That's beer and wine, and that's what we committed. And these, we will have a camera on top of to prevent crime and theft and run on those type of things. On the wine and beer specific cameras, there's a lot of safeguard we put in so to prevent any theft or sale of beer and wine to minors.
Very good. Any other questions? Anyone? I have one question for Mr. Scully. I was wondering, is that the, as part of their CUP, if they have certain instances, one was about panhandling. I don't know, that's something that the applicant can control necessarily very well. So is this just like a continued, if there's an ongoing problem, and obviously they can call the police, have them.
Yeah,
but,
right.
I mean, I'm just curious, how does that work with other businesses that have had similar situations?
It really falls into the nuisance category and reporting of the nuisance, to the police department and documentation of it. And it's really case by case. We don't ever really know. I mean, we have a pretty good idea of the types of uses that may become problematic. Liquor sales, we just carry that forward. There have been times in the past where that has been an issue. So it's just an extra precaution, and it's kind of called out.
Okay, so it's more of like just.
Yeah, I think it's more of a legacy issue.
Okay. Yeah, because I would hate to see if, we have issues in the city with homeless, and that would be important. If it was something that people started hanging out as business, and that could potentially jeopardize the CUP, that would be something of concern. So I would not want to have that happen to him, especially after paying $2.1 million in upgrades to have that upset by a person just loitering around. So,
That's why
Yeah.
we took every precaution. to
Yeah,
make
with the
sure
cameras.
There's not going to be any problem for the city or for us.
Okay, very good. Are there any other questions from the commissions?
Always look this way first.
Go right ahead, sir.
So
Thank you.
just to clarify
Remember
on
nothing.
the panhandling issue,
Mhm.
it becomes an issue that could result in his CUP being revoked if there are a lot of instances where police have to come and shoo away panhandlers. Does
Right.
that not discourage the owner from calling the police and trying to do it himself and maybe doing something unsafe?
We would review the circumstances behind the determination of a nuisance, becoming a nuisance. And with the owner calling quickly to respond, we certainly wouldn't, that would bode in the operator's favor. So we certainly, we look at the number of calls, but that's, really it's, then how do we?
Calls he makes or bolster his case.
Yes,
The calls the
correct.
neighbors make.
That could be it's like,
create a
you need to
negative,
manage your property. You need to get a remedy quickly as a property owner, take that responsibility. So it would actually work in the opposite way.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Question to you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And we have some public comments, so I'll call the cards that have been filled out. First, I have Jim Mueller.
First of all, I want to make it clear, I'm not against a business owner expanding his business and trying to make a profit. But I do request the Planning Commission to deny this request for a conditional use permit to sell beer and wine for off-site consumption at this site on Artesia Boulevard at the corner of Inglewood Avenue. There are already 4 places within a half mile of this location to buy beer and wine for off-site consumption, and several to buy alcohol for on-site consumption. The gas station services people stopping by in their cars. I can envision a customer buying a 6-pack here, gassing up his car and having one for the road, adding to the hazards in an already crowded traffic area. Artesia Boulevard has become notorious as the go-to get-high strip. The citizens of North Redondo have begun to realize what the smoke shops are selling along with the liquor stores and bars. And if the planning department, had been paying attention to these citizens' voices, they wouldn't be recommending the CUP change. Do the owners even live in North Redondo, where they plan to sell their alcohol? We in North Redondo do not need more purveyors of alcohol or weed or THC. The city council approved excluding Artesia from cannabis sales. Why is the planning department recommending another place to buy a habit-forming intoxicant? Nothing has been said about how much additional profit the sale of beer and wine will have and how much tax revenue the city will get. Where are those statistics from this sale, from approval of this CUP? Again, I ask the Planning Commission not to approve this CUP, to begin to restore some community-based, family-oriented environment on what is the main street of North Redondo Beach. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker card I have is for Mike Grady.
Mike Grady, Independent Repair and Tire Pros, right next door to the mobile gas station. I've been there since 1985. I'm the owner. And what I have to add to this is that I've worked with Bashir on this whole idea for a long time. I know the homeless population that's on our boulevard. If you look at police reports, I've never called in for homeless. I have helped move them along. They use my restroom from time to time. I have a nice, clean, large restroom, and we have to clean it a lot of times afterward. And yes, there's going to be homeless people in the area. There always have been, and there probably always will be. But as far as the beer and wine, I'm not worried about the sale of beer and wine to be a problem. I can see people coming to a store, stopping at Mickey's Deli, picking up an Italian sandwich and maybe some wine and heading home. You know, these things happen after work. You know, you go somewhere and get something. He needs the revenue from not only the Mickey's Deli, the mini market being able to sell product, the charging stations and everything he's trying to do, because I've watched and seen how his automotive business, as mine has decreased, and have the sales of gasoline, which have gone way down. The advent of the electric cars, the hybrid cars, the higher gas mileages, and fewer cars in the area consuming gas is killing them. And so I would request you to please allow him to have this benefit. He's done everything that he can to protect our city and me being in North Redondo from this being abused. And I think it's going to be a great thing for the city. I think it's a great thing for people to have a place to charge their electric cars. We don't have enough in Redondo. I have 2 Teslas. So hopefully people could come in there, put their car on charge, go inside, do a little grocery shopping, get beer and wine, if you will, and get some sandwiches at the deli, and then get back in their car, unplug it, and go home. And I don't think they're going to consume it right there on the corner of Inglewood and Artesia. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And I do recommend your shop. I've used it in the past. Give a shout out for that. Holly Osborne. I saw her back here a minute ago. Holly Osborne? Okay. Are there any other speakers in the audience who'd like to speak? Please come up.
Yeah, Georgette Gantner, District 2. If that is true, I agree with Mr. Mueller that the council did rule and say that they wouldn't have cannabis between Inglewood and Aviation. So we're trying to keep it kind of as little drug-free, cannabis-free as possible. But there's another situation. There's a gas station on Pacific Coast Highway and Torrance Boulevard on the north west side.
West side.
And they are not allowed to sell beer and wine. And that was something that happened. He told me when I was running, the campaign, and he allowed everybody to put their signs up. And I was talking to him, and he said, hey, why can't I sell beer and wine at my gas station? I said, I don't know. And he said, Bill Brand and Nils had said at one point, no, you can't, because there's a bus stop there. People get off and they buy beer and wine, and then they degrade people's lawns or whatever it is. Well, there's bus stops all up and down Artesia too, so they can't use that argument. So if this goes through, I'm going to go back and tell that guy, go ahead and apply again, because if he's denied, that's really against his rights. So I'd rather neither one of them do. But in his case, also, the other thing is there's a CVS pharmacy across the street that sells beer and wine. So he's wondering, why can't he? So anyway, it's got to be fair, no matter how this is ruled. Hopefully it's fair to this other gentleman too.
It's possible that he just has to apply because the rules have changed.
No.
How have they
Or is
changed?
he in the
Mr.
coastal
Well, you
zone?
can ask staff about
We can ask staff that
Oh,
question
okay.
there, please. Thank you.
Okay, but well, depending on this outcome, that, probably he should.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers present or anyone online that wants to speak on this topic?
No attendees would like to speak at this time.
Okay. And did you have a question you wanted to ask staff, Mr. Buswell, or?
No, but since I can't ask anyone else, I will. So I'm not sure exactly where this gas station is because I don't live down there.
Yeah.
Is it in the coastal zone, or is there some reason why they were
It is,
denied?
well, it was, the laws have changed. That's exactly what's occurred. The city, I think it was 2 years ago, enacted a very specific ordinance to allow alcohol sales at service stations where it was not permitted before.
Correct.
So now that's in place.
I remember this coming back to us, or this coming to us some months back, and the Planning Commission decided, based on some pretty serious and authentic statistics and polling, that it was a bad idea. And we turned it down, but the city council reversed that apparently, right? If I recall correctly. And now it is
It's
okay for
okay.
gas stations.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
this is, we talked, both of you guys, this came in front of the Planning Commission regarding sales of alcohol at gas stations. And the Planning Commission didn't support that. However, the City Council did. North Redondo Council people wanted to be able to sell alcohol at gas stations, if I'm not mistaken, so they reversed our decision. And so now it is law that we can have beer and wine at gas stations. And so we're not really discussing that. We're doing the conditional use permit. But as far as and what was decided, that there would be no alcohol sales west of PCH. So that's how and that's the only one gas station west of PCH.
Correct. I was at the meeting.
And it's a little confusing because he also came in front of us to discuss construction. So we had 3 different, times that we've met with you.
Correct. Commissioner Gaddis.
I don't think you can come back up.
Do you have another question?
No.
Okay.
I just want to know why west of PCH.
The weather's different.
Was it the Coastal Commission? I think it was a whole nother thing. It was just that the council,
They,
it really,
I think there was some coastal zone issue.
what it
wasn't
came
there?
down to
It was part of
is
it, part of it.
the council in District 4 for sure wanted to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have this.
Yeah. And there was an issue in the coastal zone. I do remember
Yeah,
that
I
coming up.
believe so.
But you can still deny it.
Well,
The commission can still deny it.
well, then they'll just go to city council and city council will okay it because they've already okayed the sell of beer and wine at
Yeah.
gas stations.
It's-
But
it-
just FYI, we had a lot of people coming up and talking about how we didn't need any more alcohol sales. We have enough liquor stores, we have the grocery stores, we have CVS, we have so we sent those arguments forward and we lost.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, we have to, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. You've spoken. We can't have the dialogue going back and forth to the audience. That's why we have public comment in the first place. Commissioner Hazeltine explained I was at the meeting, of the council meeting when that came up, and that's,
Right.
that's very accurate what happened. And there was a component about the coastal zone in that. So,
Okay.
so nothing we can do or say can change what the council member has already
Right.
decided, unfortunately. So, so we're here to talk about a CUP in this case right now. So that's what we're limited to discussing. So, did you have a?
Well, wait a minute. Nobody asked me a question.
Well, no, I'm sorry, we can't have the dialogue going back and forth. The order is you come up, speak, we will let you speak. We're having a discussion now at this point. Commissioner Gaddis, would you like to speak?
Yeah, there was a concern brought up by a member of the public about consumption on premises. Somebody buys a six-pack, takes it out to their car that they're filling up with gas and decides to have a roadie, sody right there in the station. What are the, what punishment comes out and to whom and how is that enforced? And is it up to the proprietor to report that, that has occurred? I would think so, kind of. you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a violation of the law.
Right.
So, they could be, pulled over and
cited for public intoxication.
Well, it's open
Potentially
container,
open
container. There's a lot of vehicle code issues that the police would handle.
And depends how much they drank. If they were over .08, then it would be.
So we have multiple
So
things going on
So
there.
if you're in a car with a key there and you have the bottle in there and you have a .08, even if you weren't driving,
Yeah,
you're still driving while intoxicated.
Right, and is that is there something that incentivizes with, carrot or stick, the proprietor to make sure that those things are reported when they occur?
I don't know how we could, I'm thinking of kind of the practicality of it. And also, I mean, there could be some additional signage related to alcohol on consumption, on-site being
Can we usually
prohibited.
put those in the
Could we
liquor
put that
stores?
requirement in there? And
Yeah.
also something to the effect of, proprietor will report any public on-site consumption of alcohol.
On-site consumption. Yeah, I think
And
that we could.
and that,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, most liquor stores have those in the parking lot, so that should be simple to do.
yeah, but I mean, this will be
Isn't
part
that
of
also
the resolution
advertising?
thing. You got to report it, it's
We
as simple as that.
Show this? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
They're already drinking on your.
Any kind of a sign mentioning or implying there's alcohol here be against the rules?
Okay,
Wait,
good.
we're having multiple conversations.
sorry.
Can we just have one at a time? Please go ahead, Mr. Rob.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah,
Okay, so.
you were asking a question, Mr.
Yeah,
Costello.
well, there's a prohibition of signage relating to alcohol sales. Would a sign that says no on-site consumption, it implies there's alcohol.
Yeah, but that's not advertising of alcohol. And this could be limited to.
Roundabout advertising. Hey,
Especially
there's
with those
alcohol here.
handcuffs.
Well,
Just don't drink it here.
Yeah, most of the time when liquor stores, it'll actually cite the vehicle code violation, no public consumption of alcohol, and it it references the vehicle code section on it.
Even if you brought your own.
Yeah.
Probably a
But
good
we could have a,
idea. Do we see? these
limited
at gas
informational signage prohibiting on-site consumption of alcohol.
stations? Do we see this at other gas stations that sell alcohol?
Yeah, I think we've seen it as,
Yeah, liquor stores have them posted.
Yeah,
all
Gas
over.
stations.
I
Well,
have.
I know, but I'm just saying if they use the same thing they do at liquor stores, that would be, we'd have to write that in the resolution, I guess.
Let me just point out to Commissioner Boswell that the applicant, I know you can't see him because of the
I can
podium,
see 'em.
but he's stating that he's already reporting
Yeah.
people who are intoxicated who
Just pull
come to
over.
his
Yeah, but I'm
establishment.
not talking about that, I'm talking about the sign.
Right.
The sign, is the sign itself not a way of telling people, hey, there's alcohol for sale here?
I don't think so.
No, they're just saying public consumption of alcohol.
Okay? And the other question was, is this what we see at gas stations? I know we see it at liquor stores. Do we see this at gas stations? Is this fair to, is it fair to have him do this?
Not in Redondo,
Others are
because I
not.
think this is our first one.
This would be the
You mean
groundbreaker
no
one.
gas
but-
stations sell alcohol?
There might be some grandfathered ones. I can't remember, but I think we researched that.
At the council meeting, we had a list of all the gas stations. I think it was like 10 or 15 or something, that number. And I don't remember any of those actually selling alcohol.
Yeah, I don't believe we do have any
No,
other
I
than
don't
this.
think so.
This would be our first one. There
Oh,
might
wait,
be
the Riviera Village, does that one sell alcohol? The one
the
by
one on
mobile-
Chevron.
The
The
Chevron
Chevron?
down there. I think that one does.
Is that?
In
No, I
Riviera
don't
Village?
think they do
That's-
any.
Oh, maybe I'm mistaken. Okay.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm not 100% sure, but
I
it
might
would
be
be
wrong.
Already spoke.
we could limit it to, 2 square feet maximum on the main, on the building itself, not on the pump islands.
Must have a picture of handcuffs on it.
Yeah.
Could it be printed on the shopping bag
Picture
that the
that
beer is
for
put
this,
into?
Have a picture of cardboard.
I don't
Okay.
know if we could get it on the shopping bags.
Okay, very good.
Uh,
I think you're better off putting it outside there than on the bags.
Yeah, because it'll be visible.
Okay.
Any other questions from any of the other commissioners or for the public?
Motion to close public hearing?
Second?
Have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
I was gonna vote.
All right.
Okay, so our next step here is
Deliberate.
deliberate on the item.
Well, I think, go ahead. Well, I think that we've, as I probably, or previously stated, we've already discussed the sale of alcohol at gas stations. And although as a commission, we didn't support it, it was taken out of our hands and the council supports it. And so this business has met all the requirements. So I agree with the resolution.
Can I ask staff to read back the changes we've made to the resolution?
Certainly, yes.
Is it possible to share the screen?
That would be great.
Yeah, if you could share the screen. I think so far there's 2 amendments. There's the blue folder version. We could just quickly just run through those.
Should I do one page? Do a one-page version? Is that easy? Oh.
Okay, so maybe, yeah, go to the top.
You want all of them, all
Yeah,
changes?
is there? Yeah, we can just, through the blue folder, we just want to, maybe just go all the way to the top. We'll just run through it. Okay, so just scroll down through it till we hit one of the amendments.
Blue line.
So we had one of the findings, there's a requirement in the findings, a time period within which the proposed use shall be developed. We put the hours of operation. That's not what it's actually looking for. It's actually looking for that limitation on they've got to act on this within 3 years or this is null and void. So we made that amendment.
It says no billboards. That doesn't count our warning sign, right?
No.
Okay.
And then this is the amendment that we've made to condition 10. I don't know why I changed the number, but that is condition 10. We added the beer and similar alcoholic beverages sales are limited to 4 or 6 packs or larger.
Right.
So maybe after.
Beverage?
Yeah, because I never just.
No,
buy
after 6 packs.
Or larger after.
After 6 packs, yeah.
Or
Say
larger.
4-pack
Or
or
larger.
larger.
Yeah, or larger.
Oh, yeah.
Wine sales are limited to 750 milliliter or larger bottles.
Very good.
So,
And similar, okay, so I think we got that.
It's a big
And then, this was a condition we had that required the employee to be 21 years of age or older
but
when they
that's
were
all.
selling after between 10 and 2. It's one of the conditions in the ordinance, but they're not selling past 9, so
Doesn't apply.
we just struck that one.
They can be whatever age at that point.
Yeah. And then here's the additional condition. that we added to reflect all the conditions on the last conditional use permit that struck the hydrogen fuel and created the convenience store and the deli and swapped out the hydrogen for EV. So we went through all those conditions. That was another blue folder as well. They were all very applicable, and they're all like site conditions. So that references that that's still intact. And then this is the last condition: a sign shall be posted on the property prohibited the on-site consumption of alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, and it doesn't say anything about selling alcohol beverages there.
Yeah.
You just can't bring your own there either and drink it.
Why 9 o'clock? How did they come up with the 9 o'clock?
Can you?
Well, the ordinance says we're supposed to find a time that's appropriate for the area. So it allows the planning division to make a determination on what's reasonable for the area. It doesn't specify a time, and in speaking with the applicant, it seemed like a time that made sense for him, and it made sense to us. And if he had asked for later, we would have pushed back, but we agreed that it was appropriate for the area based on what's open in the area.
Planning came up with 9 o'clock and he was just good with it.
It was a collaborative effort.
The owner wanna-
The reason we came up with 9 o'clock.
Oh, please come up with the microphone so we could, that way it gets on the record properly. Thank you.
The reason we came up with the 9 o'clock, because we're gonna close the door at 9 o'clock, so nobody gets in and the.
Oh, okay, so all
convenience
sales
stuff.
stop at
Sales
9.
are, the only thing is just.
Gas can get by.
Through the window, so
Yeah.
it would not be able to sell gas.
No sandwiches at Mickey's either, huh?
No, they have their own side. If they're gonna be open,
That's up
the
to
door
them.
would be closed
Okay.
between us and them.
So I didn't realize that. Okay, so that makes sense. That's the
Yeah.
time you're closing
9
shop,
o'clock,
and
so-
you can't sell
Start
anything
feeding
from a
them.
closed
So
store.
that's why I asked from 10 o'clock till 9, so after we close the doors, we are selling through the drawer, would not make sense to sell.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
All right, is that all the changes?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
That's everything.
Very good.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve J1 PC 250386 with the conditions that we added as a planning commission tonight.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Do we roll call vote?
yes.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Light,
Aye.
Commissioner Boswell,
Aye.
Commissioner Craig,
Aye.
Commissioner Gaddis,
Aye.
Commissioner Conroy, Commissioner Hazeltine,
Yes.
Chairperson Lamb.
Motion carries.
Yeah, there you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So next on our agenda is items continued, correct?
We
Yeah, item
have,
K. Oh, we have the, well, L1's later, so we have item continued first.
items for discussion prior to action, right? Oh, yeah, continue.
Yeah. Next we have.
Bye, Jim.
Very well. So next on our agenda, items continued from a prior agenda. Do we
Bye-bye.
Have anything that was continued? I don't believe so. Do we have, I'm sorry, Mr. Scully, do we have anything continued from our previous agenda at all? Item K?
No, we do not.
Okay, and then item L is items for discussion prior to action. Do we have anything on that? No. Okay, then the next is we have item L1, discussion and consideration of the city council strategic plan.
All right, thank you, Chair, members of the Planning Commission, Sean Scully, Planning Manager. So just a couple of slides here. This is kind of the wish list opportunity for the Planning Commission. This is how we advance, some of your initiatives to get on the strategic plan or to propose that they be put on the strategic plan, the city council strategic plan. So what we did, we provided a report that lists what's on the Community Development Department's plate right now. And I've got a slide that will kind of walk us through those. It was in the brief report that we provided with the packet. But there's a number of initiatives on the strategic plan now, that under Goal 2, vitalize commercial areas of the city. There's the ACAP implementation, and ACAP's done, but there's kind of a phase 2 to ACAP that council wants to walk through and investigate, and that's rooftop dining, lot merger incentives to try to create some larger development potential, and new signage standards. Additionally, the Artesia FAR increase is on our plate right now, and on the strategic plan. The Artesia Aviation parking regulation update. So kind of we at the council's direction, and planning commission weighed in on it as well, but to incentivize development, one of the big impediments is always the parking requirements. So those were rolled back, but there's always a concern, well, you roll them back and then you get spillover parking in the residential neighborhoods, and we hear about that right away. We haven't heard anything yet in the adjacent neighborhoods related to commercial parking spilling over, but that's one of the things we'll be reinvestigating and bringing back through that strategic plan item. Of course, the general plan update, we just had our phase 2 of the final work effort on the general plan update. Just went to council this past Tuesday. There was an amendment to the contract with PlaceWorks to facilitate that ongoing effort and to wrap that project up. So council's direction was, let's try to get this all done. And if something starts to bog it down, they'll push that off. But the plan is to get the Artesia items and the public institutional FAR items addressed, and then whatever Article 27 vote is required based on those land use changes, they'd like to see those happen this year. So we're going to be working to complete the general plan update effort that we started back in 2016. So the attracting new businesses to the city, that's when you see the parentheses on the strategic plan, it's got the department initials, waterfront economic development, whatever the first one listed, they're the lead. And then the other, we're included with the city manager's office, community development department. And so we're going to work with them, and we have regular meetings with them that are kicking off and trying to attract new businesses. They've staffed up, so we anticipate there's going to be a little bit more work coming from that effort this year as well. Then marina parking standards update. Again, they're really looking at the harbor, trying to figure out the parking mix and how any revitalization efforts and the businesses will be accommodated, particularly with the boat launch coming in, and how that's going to impact that. So we're doing a lot of work with them on the standards for parking. Then there's the whole kind of the success of ACAP has led to a desire to do something similar on PCH. So that's right now already on the plan is the PCH corridor area plan effort. So we haven't kicked that off yet. We're going to get more information as we move through the general plan update to see what starts coming together in those discussions, and that would be with this body as well. And then the temporary use permits, they just want to relook at how we issue them, for what type of events are included under the purview of those permits. So we'll be working on that this year. And then goal 3, there's increase environmental sustainability. I know that's a near and dear initiative for this body as well. So currently on the on the strategic plan list is native planting and pollinator requirements. Public Works is advancing that. They just took it to their, they took an update to the city council last month. I wish I would have sent what the latest and greatest is, but I did reach out to the city engineer, and we're planning to get together, and because that initiative is moving forward. So whatever happens there, it's going to come here. If it involves landscaping amendments or amendments to the landscaping ordinance or development standards amendments, which from what I've been hearing, it will. So you'll get an opportunity to see exactly how that plays out. The preservation ordinance and historic resources survey, that's an item we have budget for. We're just trying to fit that in under the current workload. And the council wants to, we're kind of waiting for the new council to come in and see how that effort kind of comes together, what the specific direction is they want to take with that. And our new, so I don't know if the commission's aware, but the Preservation Commission that used to manage everything that was subject to the city's preservation ordinance, they're no longer a commission. It was 2 members were brought over to the Public Amenities Commission. So now they handle the Public Amenities Commission. That's the second Wednesday of every month. They handle, I think that it used to be Library Commission, Historic Society Commission. Yeah, the Historic Commission, and then Preservation Commission. And there was a 4th one. I can't remember.
Recreation?
Was it Recreation? Yeah, it's definitely.
I think Park and Rec,
I think it
Rec
was-
and Park is still a separate
They're still
one.
separate.
But I thought it was just 3.
I think it's 4, I can tell you, Community Services, I was at the meeting last night, and Community Services individuals were there going through items with them. So there's something that used to be housed in Community Services, some kind of recreational component to it. Anyway, we're getting them up to speed on all the historic preservation issues. Those are very particular and very specific. So we did a little training with them last night, and we're going to just keep doing that. And so they're very interested in the historic resources survey. So goal 4, invest in the city's infrastructure. There's development impact fees. We're looking really closely at all of our fees in community development. We just had a 2-hour meeting today with a consultant that we've hired that's just wrapping up the fee schedule or the fee study that is telling us exactly how much it costs, in real dollars for us to process a conditional use permit. Like, and what we charge today versus that actual 100% recovery cost, and taking into account overhead, employee wages and everything. And we're just now getting to the end of that study. So that's Mark's going to be scrubbing that a little bit further, and then that'll go to the council. So we'll see what comes of it, because the fees are coming in a little bit, certainly more than what we charge.
Great.
It's, and so that'll be interesting to see how that moves forward. And it'll probably be in another month or so that actually gets to council. So we're working on finishing that. And then goal 6, enhance the delivery of city services. This is the co-living and single room occupancy policy. I'm sure you may be aware the mayor's very interested in this as well. So that's already on the list, and that's something we're gonna, that'll be moving along probably with the land use element. There might be a policy or 2 that gets added to what's in the land use element that further, ingrains the requirement that we're going to have to come up with an ordinance specific to that. So that's on the list. and then
I
include,
did find that if you want the four commission, you're right, it is four.
Yeah.
It is the Rec and Parks
oh, okay.
with Historical Preservation and Library Commissions.
That's all
Yeah,
on
it's
there?
quite a
Yeah.
mix. And they're, I think they sprinkled it with a couple
was on
from
that
each one of
board.
them, of those commissions, so and the preservation ordinance, to be honest, is not super straightforward. It's very nuanced, trying to articulate how to preserve a historic resource and what you can and can't do to it without detracting from it. And the way it's set up now, it's a real balancing act because we want to have properties preserved, but we don't want to be so strict that the property owner, who comes in and buys a 1,200 square foot 1920s bungalow can't do an addition on it because he'll detract from the historic resource. So then they're going to be asking to bulldoze it, because they can't adaptively reuse it. So that's kind of the balancing act that we go through with those. And then the inclusionary housing, that's still on the strategic plan list now, and the new council is going to be looking at that. So then the next question is, is there something else the planning commission wants to get on the list that goes to the council?
And I have to have an answer tonight.
Gosh, I don't believe so.
Because we didn't really have a heads up to prepare a list, did we?
Yeah, maybe, okay. I mean, I don't believe there's,
And the public should probably,
Be involved with that.
have some sort of heads up that,
Should we put it on for agenda?
gosh.
well, I mean, it
mean,
was
let
on
me
our
see,
agenda, but it wasn't fleshed out
Yeah, I
this way.
didn't realize that this is where.
Does somebody have the report handy? Does it say the dates of this strategic plan?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, what is it? I think it goes to April, right?
Yeah. They start right away, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so is it like the end of April?
2025, it doesn't give a date in April.
It doesn't give a date, it just says through
It just
April.
says September 2024 through April 25th.
Okay, so we probably could still,
5.5 weeks.
they'll do something in April, but they've got to get the new council up to
Yeah,
speed.
there's
and-
the swearing in of the new
Yeah,
council on
that's
the
April
1st.
1st.
I
Yeah.
don't think there's going to be a lot moving forward on this.
Yeah. So I think we're safe if you want to, give this some thought and then come prepared at the next planning commission meeting.
Mr. Buswell?
This reminds me of when Holly got up and talked to us earlier. Now, we don't have anything in the city that requires someone who's buying a condo to commit to living there for 2, 3, 4, 20 years, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But it certainly, the ability to do something like that certainly creates momentum to reduce speculative buying of property that drives up prices. And the whole state is ruining the community under the belief that more housing brings down prices. But what brings down prices is not fooling with the supply. That's supply side economics, which by now we should know doesn't work. You need demand side economics, which means you got to impact the demand for housing. If you can eliminate the people who are going to buy it and flip it, that takes some of the competition for houses out, or for homes, out of the equation. So that's one of many things that could be done. Is there any chance that we could put this before the city council that you have, if you're going to buy a condo or a group of condos or even a home, that you commit to living in it for a certain period of time?
Well, there's actually
And-
a
and
state
maybe-
bill that actually is trying to identify part of that. The council had been, they wrote an opinion letter on it about 6 months ago. And basically it was to prevent speculative builders like Blackstone to buying
Yeah,
blocks of
right,
homes. And that was at the council meeting. I forgot the assembly bill that it was. I don't remember the council adopted a opinion letter because there were some ambiguities in the way the wording was done. It's like, he had a difficult time, in the bill itself, it doesn't define, well, what do you consider to be a big investor? Is it you and I decide to buy 2 homes, or is it a Blackstone buying 100?
well,
And then the parallel was on.
that's the trap, is
Yeah,
calling
I
it
know.
investors.
I understand, and they were looking at situations that happened in Atlanta, for example, which has been a victim of that same type of speculative purchasing. And so I know the city weighed in on an opinion letter on that, but right now, I don't think that there's any restriction on that. The property that we looked at last week, the only restrictions that were on ownership were with regard to the low-income ones, which just said that you had to have a certain income, and that was it. It didn't, beyond that, there was nothing. All those homes were open market. One person could buy all of them.
Market rate, yeah.
Yeah, I was
But-
curious about that because I had that same reaction to Holly's. I didn't even think that was an option. Would that have been an option to put that condition? I mean, we could have said something like that and been
He
overruled.
would have, that probably would not.
I don't think so.
Is
So,
that legal to restrict people from buying?
Legal is relative until you get sued. so-
yeah.
Yeah, good
We-
point.
Not at this point in the
Yeah.
process, it has to be something they're informed of up front. By the
Right.
time
You
they
have to
get
notify
here,
them
what we
upfront.
saw was, every
Right.
suggestion was met with, well, we don't have to do that.
Yeah, we
And
don't
they
have to
just
put
said
three
that too.
3 feet shorter or
Yeah,
anything.
it
Yeah.
needs- it needs- if there's a way to legally make it some sort, especially condos.
Yeah.
I think the thing might be to see what the progress is on that assembly bill, because I know when the council was considering it, it was in, how bills get changed multiple times as they go through committee. It was in committee at that time, so I don't remember the number or where it's at, so if the assembly has even continued that. But that would be probably something that, if we wanted to bring that up, would be something to say, we should adopt something similar to that.
And we should have, if we're hiring consultants, let's
But-
figure this out.
I did notice the last time we went through this exercise, Sean, we actually have some stuff on here. So our list was, I don't know.
Looked at, right?
Yeah, we actually had PCH on there that we discussed. We
Right.
had the landscaping issues, the natives, sustainability. So easily 3 of those are issues that we started here. So
And
What were
next,
the ones that didn't catch?
I don't remember. I
remember
I
either.
was looking for my list.
there was
and
a
I couldn't
bicycle
find it.
thing, I think, at one point.
Oh, there was a
Bicycle
yeah,
racks.
racks and,
Because I remember we had the whole list of the stuff that was in the
yeah,
void.
and 3 of those things
So,
are on this. So I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, and I will
What was the
provide,
bicycle rack thing?
it just had to do with businesses
rack in
providing
front of
racks in
every
front of
store.
businesses.
Yeah.
So new businesses should be required to have bicycle
Something
racks?
of that effect.
All of them.
Sean, did we specifically, do you remember on our list, did we have tree canopies? Yeah, we did. We came up with the tree
looked it up.
canopies. So
We said to follow through with what's similar with Pasadena. did,
Pasadena,
right?
yeah. So we had that on our list.
Okay,
that-
Canopies
okay.
and trees, yeah.
We suggested
He's
it.
doing a list now.
So why
Yeah.
don't we,
let's add
we
that.
can maybe brainstorm a couple items for Sean to take so we don't have to hit
Yeah.
this item again?
Well, I think we should leave it open to be able to revisit it
Right.
in
Yeah.
a subsequent meeting, because there are things we're not going to think of right
Right.
now.
So we can,
What is-
we can add it to, as another discussion item, but we could get a few things here. And then if something happened and city manager said, hey, no, that's all, I'm taking this
Mhm.
to the second week in April,
Right. It
get me
was
what you
coming up
got.
in spring. So
Yeah.
if we could specifically talk about the tree canopy, we talked about natives and we talked about pollinators and we talked about all that, but the actual,
Requirements.
Yeah. And
Canopy
I'm going to be
requirements.
going to the General Assembly
and
of
it's-
the COG next week, which we'll talk about water issues again too. So I'll grab
Mhm.
material there if it's
and then
important.
the water capturing, but I
Mm-hmm.
believe, is that on there? Or I know,
I know we talked about it. Did
That's
that
what I was
get
gonna
on
ask.
there?
Water
Water capture
list?
should definitely be.
yeah,
on the
so
list.
that's
water
something
capture.
we're interested in.
Right.
Private property water capturing for new builds and large remodels
Mhm. Yeah,
at a
we've
certain
spoken about that.
percentage.
Yeah, and that one water bureau has a whole bunch of information that I got last time, and I'll get some more next
Right.
week when I go to the meeting.
Mention.
So.
Um,
Okay. Tree canopy requirements, for.
I think we also talked about the triangle from the Redondo sign down to the harbor, but I think that's maybe a little bit premature to have it discussed at this point until. We talked about having a plan for Pacific Coast Highway, but also having a plan for that area from Burl.
West of
Yeah.
Pacific Coast Highway? Where do you-
West of PCH, Catalina,
That's, that dirt lot there in the mud.
Dirt farm.
all the way down to
Dirt farm.
the, what did we decide that was, Garnet?
No, that's Francisco.
Francisca?
But I think there is already a well-defined plan for that.
Well, something like what we want to do with
Kind of a corridor
PCH.
plan, though?
I think you're talking about that plot of land that's Redondo on one side, right?
Right, Redondo,
And Catalina
Catalina,
and Francisca to
right?
the dirt lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't it
There's
have
a-
some
there's a whole-
affordable housing there?
There's a whole plan
What
right
now?
now for
Well,
that.
I thought they were already putting a garden in over there. We had.
Well, there's a garden there, but we as a group, remember we talked about, it was when it came in front of us and they wanted to do it, are we going to be in charge of it or
Right,
the
Harbor
Harbor
Commission, right,
Commission?
right.
And we,
Yeah.
it chose, the city council decided to keep it with the planning commission.
Correct.
Okay, so we had also talked about, at that point, having, coming up with a plan for Pacific Coast Highway like ACAP, and then also having something very similar for that area all the way down to Harbor Drive, but I believe it's a little soon to start.
Oh, you're talking about through
the whole-
the AAS property?
Yeah, which is a little
Oh,
soon
yeah.
for that.
We're probably jumping the gun on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Who actually owns the AES property these days?
Yeah, you know something? we
Well, I
don't know?
think
Well,
I
it's
know,
the-
but I was
it's
just
not
saying, I
all
think it's
AAS,
too
it's
early, but that
outside of
is
the
something
AAS.
we also threw out, that it would be nice to have a very similar plan to ACAP down there. That's, a
Sure,
huge area.
Sure. Yeah, we spoke about that.
Yeah, with incentives for FARs and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Something like that. I think I know where you're
How
talking.
about something
yeah.
in District 4 and 5? Can you guys think of anything other than tree canopy and water capturing for new build?
Should the bike racks be on this recommendation?
Was that was on ACAP, right? The bike
That's
racks?
ACAP.
Yeah, that was in there.
I think
Yeah,
that is
so-
an ACAP. It hasn't been implemented yet. There was a
Yeah, I haven't
grant
seen it
Public
then.
Works was trying to get. Yeah, I don't know where that's
I
at
think we're
right
talking
now.
citywide, like.
We are talking
we're talking
citywide, but I
citywide,
was
not
seeing
ACAP.
if these guys
Oh,
had any
okay.
idea.
So more generally.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm,
yeah.
because I
we
can
ride
think of
bikes
what we need
elsewhere in the
down
city
on
as
our
well.
District
It's true.
1.
Would that be like requirements with, like a development standard? If, you have to put in a couple of bike racks per some square
How many square
footage of
footage?
new
Yeah,
commercial
It should be
development?
bike friendly. If we're going to try to make the city
Oh,
more bike
yeah,
friendly.
that would be a great idea.
Because we just painted
Thought
all
we
the
had
new
talked
bike
about
paths
that,
throughout
no?
the whole city now.
Yeah,
Most of the
yeah,
city-
that's
But
in
we're putting it
District
back
5
in
as well.
community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
I
are
know,
going up
I know.
everywhere.
Yeah, I
That's-
didn't
that's
notice
why
the
I'm
ones
bringing
on
it up.
So
TV.
let's have it on.
Right.
You just go right in the middle of the street.
Manhattan
Yeah,
Beach
just
Boulevard, they
Bike
just
lanes
put
are
them
the
in.
worst idea ever,
What else did we
because
have?
a bike
That's where living
gets to
standards.
be in
Four,
the lane.
4 and 5, it's a lot more single-family dwellings, so the big issue will be these ADUs and
Yeah,
stuff like that, so I know we're very limited on what we can do unless
Yeah.
there's some,
state is messing with us.
yeah, state is messing
I'll
with
show
us
you that
there.
picture of that one in San Diego. That was crazy.
Anything else you can think of?
I think we,
That was
What
most of the things
hit
on
all
that
these
list. I
About like
remember that was-
North
yeah.
Redondo,
Did you-
District 4 and 5, park improvements.
Well, that's all
more
council.
bike paths?
Did-
Do you guys,
That's
Well,
CI that's
there's
CIP stuff.
there was talk,
bike
there was
paths.
something they called at one time the Inland South Bay Bike Path,
Yeah,
which would come up
continuous.
through the, underneath the power lines that go up through
Right.
North
And
Redondo.
keep that going,
And
yeah.
then keep going and going and going and going. So
You
the
guys
green
need-
strip part is great, but what about, where does it go after that? I'm not sure. I haven't been up there lately. But what I'm actually talking about are the parks that are up there. And there's that small park at the top of the bike path. Is there something that that people in that area want to do with those parks that's not being done? Are there any kind of
Well,
enhancements?
I was on
or
Park and
equipment?
Recs before this.
And that's your area.
Yeah,
Right,
and
anyway.
it's where I live. We were pushing for pickleball And
yeah.
that there is something that was going on there. I don't know what's happened with.
Pickleball is the devil's.
They were actually talking about building a separate like championship pickleball major thing in the
Multi-story
aviation
stadium?
area.
Yeah, the multi-story stadium.
Well, they put, like, those
I don't know about that.
handball courts there,
Well,
which could come out. and-
so the question was to try to take the tennis courts at Anderson Park and make one a pickleball court, but those were always full with tennis players. So we ended up saying, no, take the little basketball court, which they have done.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of others that were
All
built.
CIP stuff.
But there was also a question, and it gets expensive, about building 6 courts on the area, which is the Aviation High
Yeah,
area.
they were taking $3 or $5 million, something like that.
Yeah,
Don't we
somewhere
wanna
on
do a
lower.
swimming pool right there?
Yeah, that guy,
Underneath the courts.
Okay.
Wasn't there talk at one time about putting a community swimming pool up in there?
I think they voted on it. I think they voted it down.
Yeah,
Did
they,
vote it down?
I haven't,
yeah.
I haven't
And
heard
I
that
think
one
the
in a
pickleball
while.
courts
It's too
one
expensive.
got, one's at Alta Vista maybe, and they took some
Yeah, they did do
tennis-
Alta Vista, they did.
And, yeah, they
took one tennis
chewed
court
on that
there.
one.
Yeah, I was
pickleball
still on it
and
when they did
swim,
that.
swim.
Do we have the pickleballers in here just to talk about it?
Yeah.
They're always so shy.
Well, with the question about
I'm gonna
bike
be
paths,
sick that day.
Yeah, bike paths.
it would be nice to get that extension. It would be nice to integrate, because it's not really citywide planned. It's sort of haphazard when these bike paths get kind of.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like,
Sean, bike paths?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just got, Nob Hill got all the way from Prospect to all the,
did
or
Barrel
Camino
Bell
Real,
also.
all the way down to the beach, I believe. It went to
They
PCA,
connected
yeah,
a
to
big
the
chunk
beach.
of it. Yeah, they're like 80, was that
They did
85%
green,
done?
you know?
To the beach.
But I think what's really cool, and I don't even know if it's allowed in Redondo, but Long Beach did a lot of Sharrow roads where they took the right-hand lane and painted it green, and then you have to share the car with the bike. Yeah, maybe that would fit in North Redondo. I
The
don't-
bikes through on the handles?
Well, they did do something like that on Manhattan Beach Boulevard.
And Torrance Boulevard as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
think I saw them on Torrance Boulevard. They're still there on Torrance Boulevard.
We've
So
got
do we
the-
want to have them talk more about add more bike paths?
Yeah, I think that would be an issue for the 4 and 5 district people, if I could speak for them as one of us.
You know, the funny thing is we do this every time something comes in front of us, we automatically throw these ideas out, so this is good.
Right.
We're just getting them written down.
Yeah. So I think we have at least a few things we throw in at Sean.
Yeah. Does
we can
Broadway have a bike? It doesn't have a green.
Broadway does not have one.
It should, because that's such a natural,
That one's got so much, all the fire trucks and emergency vehicles plow down that. I think
so there's no way, because boy, that's such a natural way if you're going to get off of,
Catalina? Don't they have something on Catalina?
no, they
Catalina
don't. It
doesn't
gets
have
so narrow there, it's
That's so
scary.
tight.
North of,
It's hard with
Not Hill.
parking on both sides, places to do it.
Yeah, Broadway everyone uses as a bike path anyway. There's hundreds of bikes that go by every day.
you need it painted? Well, that's what I'm thinking, because PCH is so dangerous. And,
Yeah, you don't wanna go there.
I've seen fatalities on PCH
yeah.
of cyclists.
Mhm.
So it would be so nice to encourage them on Broadway, but you think because of the emergency vehicles, it wouldn't
I
go?
think that's probably why they're not, but even so, there's, every day there's about, I live on Broadway, there's like 20, 30 cars that park, they get their bikes out, right? Bikers are using it all the time.
The problem with anywhere you ride a bike as a cyclist is the problem with car doors opening. So if you can't have a bike path right next to parking, and it really has to be separated to make it safe.
I think the problem with Broadway too is that you don't park parallel to the street on one side, it's on an angle, and cars are backing out all the time almost.
Right, and I think that the reason for the bike path is to make the cars aware that there's a bike path behind me, so when I back up, I have to be careful, so it's painted green. That it just brings people awareness. I mean, I always take Broadway on my
Yeah.
bike, it's just a safer way to go, but that's why you have Nob Hill,
Yeah.
why did they need it on Nob Hill? It's just to bring awareness.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's a bike path here, expect to share the road. Anyhow, Just a thought. Bike paths, Sean.
Cool. We don't have to solve the problem tonight, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
We just have to make the problem.
Got the list right here.
Get it written down
Yeah.
up there.
Sorry, I wasn't
Go
looking,
go
Sean.
right ahead.
I thought you were texting your friend.
Oh, no, no, no.
He's actually typing what we're saying up
I'm
here.
working, I'm still on the clock.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And that first one, the objective design standards, that is going to come to you guys no matter what. We're going through that as a department now. And if you recall, it went through commission. There was some issues with respect to the, its inconsistency with SB 330 and got to council and it got cut back. And it needs to be kind of like re-put back together a little bit. And so that'll definitely be something that's on, the department's going to advance that.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, when it did get to city council and it was cut back
Yeah.
with one understanding, that understanding actually
Yes.
was not appropriate. So it probably has to come back to, I mean, at least that's what I heard from somebody important.
There was just a lot of concern about.
But
if-
it ended up, it was multifamily. So everything that was knocked out, we had put in for single family wasn't really it could have stayed in there, was what I was told by Mark.
Yeah.
By the
and
big
that's, I
cheese.
mean, there's some truth to that. So
Yeah.
we know we want to bring it back
Okay.
and look and tune it up.
And then would that be also, Sean, with the consultant or not? Well, at this point,
It'll
we're
probably be with just staff.
with staff.
We
Okay.
actually are staffing up, so I think we've got the bandwidth to do it.
Mhm.
And the foundation's there.
Okay,
We know the kind of the issues and the concerns, and we know where the state law boundaries are. So we're hoping we can bring something, get that put back together again.
I just have to find my old notes.
Yeah.
The water recapture, we've got on-site, does this include sort of all, citywide opportunities for water recapture? Or is this referring specifically to individual projects, whether they're commercial or?
Yeah, I mean, citywide, private property development. So like if you, and that's a good, something to talk through, what would be the threshold to require it? Is it an addition to a home and then they're going to have to put in some on-site retention basin? Is that too low of a bar? Should it just be if they're a new single-family dwelling, they've demoed the site and now they're putting a new home or a new condos? And that would be something we can
Yeah.
parse through. But
New construction makes total sense when they're scraping a lot. And then if there's a redevelopment or a remodel where they're doing, I think, like, the big deal about how you get really specific here, if you're lifting patios, it's really, really easy to capture water at that point. It's so a remodel of, let's say, 50% would be required to capture water, something like that. But I think there's probably already a standard out there. We don't have to remake the wheel. It's already,
Yeah, we'll have to look
in
to
other
see.
cities.
Well, I do know that a lot of people, if you don't want to do a complete tear down, you keep one wall. Yeah.
See, that should be a
and that sort of
capture
gets
water.
around,
Yeah.
but that would certainly fit the
Yeah.
need for water recapture.
You know a really interesting story that Sheila told me, that at her property where they live up in District 4, up on the hill there, they were, Golden Hills are required to have sump pumps, right, to collect the water and, or capture the water. So it was much more inexpensive for her to actually have the water diverted into her backyard, and it's just sinking down in her soil, and she's had no problem whatsoever. So, and it was less expensive. So there's all,
Her downhill neighbor loves it.
no, it's,
I'm kidding.
yeah, no, it's working. It's working. I know I'd be frightened as well. Yeah.
That's right.
She had
Most of the
holes,
homes
she
that
had
have
holes
that.
dug in the backyard to expedite the drainage. It doesn't just sit there and percolate down.
Right, right.
It's
Well, and the holes
bioswales.
are, I've seen them because City of Los Angeles requires it. They're made into like a water, it's a garden that's planted with water-loving plants. And it, most of the time doesn't have water in it, but when it does, it's perfectly fine. And it's really, it's beautiful, the ones I've seen. You wouldn't even know what it is. It's a garden.
We'll call it a garden.
My mosquito farm.
Sounds better than a sump, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, great. Any other items that we want to throw at Mr. Scully?
Can't
or
think of
not?
any.
Well, we'll have a chance if we think of something
Yeah.
along the way. Should we just shoot it to you in
Send
an
an email?
email or?
It's,
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that's a great
the
idea.
thing is, though, instead of like individual requests, it needs to be from the body of the commission.
Yeah, because if we're all doing separate.
Right.
Why don't we have, can we have a subcommittee, just collect them and send them in a group to him or not? How would that best?
How
be?
does that work with the Brown Act and all?
Well,
Well, maybe, Sean, we could, is our schedule so crazy that we've got a big chunk here? I mean, I don't know if we're going to have more stuff on the list or not.
Yeah.
Might not have to have that long of a discussion.
Of a what?
If we were to put
Yeah,
it back
just
on the agenda
Put it on
another
the agenda
night.
next
Yeah,
time
I
and
mean,
then
I'm
just talk
just
about it
worried-
here and then it would bring any ideas we have next time.
right,
Yeah.
between now and then.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we go with this, and then if it hasn't advanced, we could put it on the next agenda just to
Okay,
give one more crack at it.
right, but at least we have it. Perfect.
Very good.
Okay.
All right,
Excellent.
that was successful.
Indeed. So next on our list is items from staff.
I think that's it right there. I mean, there's a
Sure now,
lot
there's
going
your
on
last
right
chance.
now, as you can tell from our list.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't want any more things? What?
Yeah, but I will, a couple of updates. We've got a new permit tracking system that's going online. We had one the end of last year. It didn't work out the way we had hoped it would. So we quickly, switched gears and we got, Mark had some good experience with another system that actually is less expensive. So that's been brought in, and we're going kind of a soft launch this next week. So you're going to see a lot of information up on the website. It'll go live the week after next. And we should be able to, it'll provide a lot more data on how we process, how long it takes, make sure, it works way more efficiently. We're able to, actually review the plans within the system, comment on the plans, shoot out those comments within the system. We're coordinating now with the other city departments, make sure they have access, and we can provide them with the plans within the system. They comment on them in the system. So it's all, the efficiency is greatly improved, and it's way easier for the public, submit everything online. We've got tutorial documents, guidance documents for every different permit type that we issue. So, we've revised and updated all our applications. It's a pretty, our applications have been in place since way before I got here. And I would, I would look at those and they would it'd be for a conditional use permit. And some of the questions they had were, it's like, the applicant doesn't know if they're, describe their consistency with the general plan policies that, it's like, there was just a lot of stuff that hadn't been revisited in a long time. So we took the opportunity to do that. So I think that's a really big step for the department. There's also been, Mark's instituted quite a few continuous improvement initiatives. So the fee schedule is going to be revamped to help recover our costs. It might not be 100%, but at least we'll know what it really takes to bring a project to the Planning Commission. And then, if we subsidize the fee, that's up to the council, but there's that. And then there's a whole nother study that was about our, oh gosh, it really broke down the organization and how we interacted with the other departments. And there's a lot of concrete recommendations that we're now from the consultant that we're implementing. So there's a lot of internal process improvement stuff going on that I just wanted to share with you. And the largest being the launching of iWorks, the new permit software. So you'll see a lot of that on the website. I think that's it. Plenty going on.
Indeed, there is.
Yeah.
Always something going on.
Yeah.
Next is commission member items or any future agenda topics. Anyone have anything they'd like to add? No? Speak now? Okay. And finally, next is adjournment. As I was telling Commissioner Gaddis earlier, the best planning commission I think the city has had is over 20 years. Adjourned to the honor of that. And once again, doing what we can to help new businesses be able to expand and operate in our city.
Thank you, Wayne.
Motion
That's
to
such a
adjourn.
nice thing.
All right.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. And all in agreement? Yes?
Aye.
Yes.
We're done. Thank you.
All right.
Cool.